Well, good afternoon, everybody. I am Missy DeVore, and I am the Campus Director of Admissions at Northwood University. We are really excited that you are here with us today as we talk about transferring and commuting to Northwood. Martin, you're muted.
My apologies. I'm Martin Finney. I am the Assistant Director of Community College Relationships from Delta College. I work at Delta College, but I work for Northwood on their campus. But today we're going to talk about whether you're going to any community college or you're a commuter coming over, the different steps involved in the process of going to college. Now, some of you may have already completed some of this, so bear with me just for a couple seconds as we go through this. But for some of you, these will be some new steps in there. So one of the first things you want to make sure to do when you are coming to college is to work with your admissions rep. Now, again, whether you're from high school, you're currently at a community college, making sure to work with them. A lot of reasons why. One is they're going to help you keep on task. Dates you have to apply for, processes that are involved. There might be scholarships you might be available for. So constantly keep in contact with them. They will make sure you are heading in the right direction. Now, when you are within a year from attending Northwood, you want to apply. Now, your application is only good for a year, so make sure you wait within a year doing that. So if you're coming in fall or spring, you should be looking into this right now. If it's a year from now, you want to wait a little bit in there. So once you apply, it's good for a year, and you just go on northwood.edu's website and look for the admissions button, and it's a very easy process to do it. There's no charge to do the application, and it's a fairly straightforward application on there. Once you do that, you are going to then ultimately be sent a checklist of things to do. One of which is send either, if you're a high school student, your high school transcripts, and also your SAT or ACT scores. If you're a college student, they're going to ask for all of your transcripts from any college you went to. Even if you've only been there for one course, it's still worth sending because that credit probably will come over, and it's one less class you have to take while you're at school. The other thing will happen is once you apply, within 20 days after you're accepted, you're going to be asked to do what they call a commitment deposit. It's a very small deposit, but what it does is holds and allows us to process all of your possible scholarships, to start processing everything. So you want to make sure to do that within 20 days of that. Now, if something does happen and for some reason you end up not being able to go, there are deadlines in which to get that money back. So currently for fall, it's June 1st, but always there again, make sure to be in contact with your representative because they can help you if you're going for spring or another semester. What are those deadlines to make sure you do that? After that, we want to make sure, or even before that, you've completed your FAFSA. Even if you've done FAFSA before for, again, a community college, something like that, it's still worth doing. Even if you haven't been approved before, because there are specific grants out there for universities that you don't necessarily get when you're going to a community college. So there again, make sure to work with your representative on that. And also make sure to put Northwood on line number 1 when you do your FAFSA, because there is a special grant out there called the Michigan Community Grant, which is only for for-profit schools. You may be eligible for that, and that's $2,800 that could count towards your education. So that's a nice little bonus you get there. Throughout this process, check your email. Now on the slide we say weekly, I would say check it every other day at least. You don't want to miss a deadline. Deadlines can cost you money, maybe cost you the class you want to be in, maybe cost you a job if you're applying for a job on campus. Check your emails regularly and check your Northwood email, because once you start in the process, that's how we communicate with you, is your Northwood email. So check that minimum weekly, but I would say every other day or so. Once you start registering for classes and doing all that, you want to check your financial aid award letters, make sure everything's in order. You know, is everything paid for? Do I need, is there still a bill out there I need to take care of? Check what's on there. maybe I don't need a parking pass because I'm not going to be driving to school. Make sure to let your rep know about that too. It's like, you know what, I'm not even going to have a car, so I don't need to pay for the parking spot. Register for classes, double check your schedule, especially if you're working. Can I make the classes? Don't overload yourself and having to be, spending 5 minutes trying to get from work to a class. Make sure to check that over and over and over again. And then ultimately, you're going to go through an orientation, which is a great thing to do. You might have been through an orientation in college, but it's a little bit different one that you're going to be going through here. And this is going to tell you a little bit more about that.
As Martin has mentioned, orientation is an important part of the process. For those of you who are transferring, though, we do understand that you know how to go to college. We want to make sure you know how to go to Northwood and take advantage of the opportunities available on campus. One way to take advantage is to get involved. So why would you want to get involved on campus? Well, you want to get involved on campus, and there are many different ways to do that. Staying on campus, research shows that students that do that have a higher GPA, and they also have higher graduation rates. There are many ways you can stay on campus. You can stay on campus by getting a job on campus. A job on campus will not only pad your pocketbook, but it will also help you increase your skill set. But most importantly is it's going to let you meet other students, other faculty, and other staff, and continue to engage and have a larger network of people. For those of you that are wondering, well, I'm commuting, or I'm only here for a short period of time, how do I do this? It becomes really easy if you are commuting to drive to campus, come to class, and then leave. If you're transferring in from another institution, it also becomes really easy to just focus on your academics for the first year. If you're doing that, you are missing out on all of the club meetings you could be taking part in, the student life activities, and the student-run events that are held on this campus. So in addition to getting a job, you can also spend that time during the day after class before you go home if you're commuting, by going to the library to study, or I'm sure that you will find your favorite study place on campus, or hanging out with the many new friends that you are going to meet. As soon as you come to campus, if you were involved in the past in something like DECA, BPA, mock trial, or speech, I would highly advise that you join one of those clubs on campus. In addition to those competitive clubs, there are 40 different clubs and organizations that you can belong to. If your major has a club associated with it, I would definitely join. But I tend to think the magic happens at our student-run events, like the auto show, the style showcase, and the Stafford Hospitality Dinner. The first event I want every single one of you to get involved in is the auto show. And that happens in the fall. Now you might be saying, but Missy, I'm an accounting major, I'm a marketing major, I don't know anything about cars. That is okay. It takes every single major on campus to bring the 40 to 60,000 people that will visit the auto show on one weekend. In addition, this will allow you to meet other students, faculty, staff, alumni, and business professionals. In addition to networking, you can start building that skill set that's really going to help you in obtaining internships and co-op positions in the future. Internships and co-op positions are a very, very important piece of your education. When you arrive on campus, after you join a club and get involved in the auto show, I want you to schedule an appointment with Career Services. They will help you prepare your resume, they'll practice interviewing with you, and whatever else you need so you are ready when you are offered that very first interview. Career Services has many resources available, and scheduling a meeting with them is really the one sure way to make sure that you are aware of all of them. Why are these things important? Well, you need to build your skill set in your resume. Your degree is one line item on your resume. It might say, I have a cybersecurity degree. I have a hospitality degree. This will take up one line. You need to build the bottom 3/4 of that resume with what we just discussed above. The great thing is many times you do not even need to leave our campus to make that happen. It is all of these events, clubs, and opportunities that make Northwood a special place. It is definitely something you want to be a part of. So what really makes Northwood special? Well, when I've asked other transfer students, what is the difference between where you went before and being here? They hands down tell me it's the faculty. Not only do they have industry experience and a network of professionals to help you, but most importantly, that they actually care about your success and how you're doing. So how long do you have? Are you here for 4 years as a freshman? If so, don't wait. Start as soon as you get to campus. Are you transferring in and you have 1 year at Northwood? You must engage from the first day you step foot onto campus. You don't have the 4 years to build the relationship. So you need to get involved and make every single second on campus count. We've given you a lot of information today from a staff perspective, but it is always best to hear from our current students and allow you to ask them questions. I would like to introduce you to John Peralt. John is a BBA MBA student that just graduated with his BBA in management and will be starting his MBA next year on campus at the DeVos Graduate School. John was the president of BPA at Northwood. He was a captain for the auto show. He works as the admissions marketing liaison, owns his own business, has won competitive money at more than one business pitch competition, and John is also the winner for the Competitive Student Government Association Award. When you talk about taking advantage of every opportunity Northwood has to offer, John is a student that has definitely done just that. John is going to lead the conversation for the student panel. So John, on to you.
Hello. Well, thank you everybody so much for joining us. Missy, thank you so much for that nice introduction. Let me bring up all of our panelists here. Let's take this screen off. My name is John, as Missy said, but I want to introduce the rest of our panel. Today we have Trevor, Grady, and Colette. Each of them are also great individuals and representatives of Northwood University. So let's start off with Colette, and then we'll move to Grady and then Trevor. And I want you guys to introduce yourself. So tell us your name, your major, your year, and then if you're a transfer student or a commuter student.
All right. Hello, everyone. I'm Colette Morris. I am a business management major and a minor in economics. I am now officially a senior here, whoop whoop, and I was a commuter my freshman year. So,
hello, my name is Grady Eager. I'm officially a senior for this upcoming year. Really excited about that. I'm a transfer student from the University of Arizona, and I currently study automotive marketing and management.
Hi, I'm Trevor, and I'm going to be a junior here, and I'm actually a transfer student from another school, and I commute as well.
Perfect. Well, thank you guys so much for being here again. For any of you that are watching at this time, it's a great opportunity to start asking your questions. Just use the comment feature below, and we'll actually feature those questions live. But to kind of kick things off, I think the first question I want to ask each of you is, what has the transition been like going from one university or college to another? Grady, do you want to start off with that?
Yeah, sure. For me, so as I said, being at the University of Arizona, it was a lot. It was a big school, 40,000 people. It's the size of Midland, basically. So to go from such a large environment to something as unique and as compact as Northwood, for me, the transition was really, really fun because I was able to take what I learned in the big school world and implement it into meeting all these incredible people here at Northwood, and the connections just came right off the bat.
And Trevor, I'm going to ask the same question to you. What was your transition like? Because yours, I believe, was a little bit different than Grady's probably was.
Yeah, I mean, the transition was easy from the beginning. I think what really helped is what Mrs. DeBoer brought up in her presentation, is that the faculty make it so easy for us. Like, they actually care and they teach us really well. And I thought once the classes were like easy and I like understood all the material, it gave me confidence to go out and like meet other people as well.
That's perfect. So Colette, I'm going to start with this next one. We'll start with you. And again, if anyone has questions, please add them to the comments below. But how do you guys stay actively involved on campus? Because obviously as a commuter student or as a transfer student, your experience is obviously very different than a traditional student when you start off as a freshman and you come in. Whereas as a transfer student or someone who commutes, you have a different experience just because you're not necessarily on campus to meet those people initially. What was it like, and what are the ways that you guys keep actively involved?
I would highly encourage staying actively involved just because as being a commuter, you don't necessarily, I never lived in the dorms. I never had that experience where I met people directly that way. So I've always stayed very involved, and it's also very easy to do at Northwood because there's just so much going on all the time, and there's a lot of opportunities that you can take advantage of, and everybody's doing the same thing pretty much. So Northwood is filled with students that are just, it just blows my mind how involved everybody is. Personally, as a commuter, I am involved in the BBA MBA program, Delta Zeta, signature events team, auto show, and fashion showcase, and Circle K. So that's a lot right there just to do as a commuter, and I'm able to do it, and I've met a lot of friends by doing so.
And can you clarify, Colette, real quick? You are not the only commuter, right? There's plenty of students that commute, but those that tend to stay on campus are the ones you really get to know and the ones who really take advantage of all those networking opportunities, right?
Yeah, so I would say a large majority of my friends are all commuters. So a lot of them don't live on campus now anymore, especially being upperclassmen. And it just does give us a better way to communicate and just hang out with people, I guess, because we don't have that feel of being on campus or being able to walk down the hall and going to someone's room. So yeah.
Exactly. And Grady, I believe you want to probably touch on staying actively involved. You're in a lot as well.
Yeah, no, I always find myself doing a lot more than just my schoolwork. I mean, being involved in the aftermarket club has been an incredible experience. That was straight off the bat. I mean, I was only in school for a few days before I had met some people and joined that. But being part of the auto show and just being a part of my industry, studying automotive has really brought a lot of amazing people into my life, and I've been able to cross paths with so many great people and so many great experiences. And this all just kind of came from chasing my passion and giving me the school giving me the opportunity to meet people and chase my dream.
And Trevor, you are a student athlete, so I'm sure that keeps you busy. You want to touch on what that's like?
Yeah, I play basketball here for Northwood, and obviously it keeps you busy with practice each day and schoolwork. But I don't know if there is anyone that's watching that's going to be an athlete, but like if you're worried that it's going to be too much or anything like that, I think the teachers here do a lot to like make sure you don't miss schoolwork, like when you're away traveling and things like that. And they do a good job helping you out. But also there's the connections you meet through like all the athletic teams are pretty close here. And like just the connections you meet through that is one of my favorite things here at Northwood.
Great. And for each of you, if you had to pick one specific thing to get involved, because obviously Northwood has all kinds of things you can be involved with, but if you all had to just pick one to start off with, which one would it be?
I don't know if you're going to go. I'll start. I would say signature events team, just because they help run all of the larger events that Northwood has, and they also do the auto show gala and the Distinguished Women's Gala and Outstanding Business Leader Gala. So even without being involved in auto show, if you were involved in signature events team and you were only going to pick one thing, you can still technically kind of be involved in auto show and all those other events, and you get to meet a lot of really awesome people. So,
as Colette said, being a part of auto show for me, I might be a little biased because I'm such a car guy, but I think auto show to me was something that I had never even heard of auto show from Northwood until I transferred here. And the day that everything came together and it was a swan song of exhaust notes and people walking around campus, it was a feeling that I just was blown away by how Northwood was able to, the students, us, all of us kids were able to figure out how to organize such an amazing event that brought in so many people. So definitely for anyone that wants to get involved in something, make sure to get in on the auto show. It's quite an adventure.
I think I would agree with auto show as well. Me personally, for sports, that takes up a lot of time, so I haven't personally worked in auto show, but just I love each year going into the auto show and looking at all the cars. And like personally, I had a roommate who worked in auto show and he enjoys it as well. So I think like if you're not in athletics, like auto show is probably one of the biggest things Northwood does.
Great. Now, do any of you have a job on campus or have had a job on campus?
So I technically have 3 jobs, if you will, and 2 of them are on campus. So my 2 campus jobs are, number 1, being a student ambassador. So it's basically just giving tours of campus and doing things like this, like a panel for you guys. Normally they would be in person, which is really sad that I can't see you all in person. And then my other job on campus is with Northwood Athletics. So I basically sing the national anthem at all of the athletic games and then do some announcing if they want me to, and sometimes some marketing stuff for them. So it just kind of depends.
Awesome.
I can't say I can really one up that, but no, I actually just work off campus, but in the city of Midland. I don't do any of the working on campus, but I just, once again, try to stay involved in campus any way I can.
Perfect. I would say, oh, Trevor, go ahead. I saw you turn your microphone off.
I was just going to say, yeah, I work off campus as well. And I think it's really easy to do. Like if you want money as well, like you can do both where you don't have to pick being involved and then working as well.
That's awesome. And you're 100% right. Like we have a lot of students who do both. They get the experience and they get paid. And kind of to roll into that, I think most of you, or at least I know of one for sure, but most of you probably had co-op and internship experiences, and off-campus experiences. Colette, do you want to start with? I know you have a lot of co-op and lots of stuff that you've been involved with.
Yeah. So through Northwood, my freshman year, I went to career services and I was just trying to look for a co-op that was best fit for me. And they got me for a year and 2 months. I worked at Dow Chemical as a finance co-op, which I was also able to use as an internship. And just kind of recently, as of February, I left Dow Chemical to get a job for the Midland ESA as another co-op. And I do event planning there, which I'm also using as an internship this summer. So through them, I have 2 co-ops and or internships that I've been able to obtain. So
that's awesome. Yeah. So since I have gotten to Northwood, I actually got an opportunity to work with the LaFontaine Automotive Group as an intern in their marketing department, which was kind of my first automotive job I've ever had, which was an absolute riot. And that was all through the LaFontaine family coming into one of our classrooms and giving us a great presentation and just walking up there and shaking their hands. So as I said, Northwood has given me some great opportunities. I have some stuff lined up for the summer that has been great with Haggerty Insurance, as well as some other creative media stuff, which once again is all thanks to Northwood and their connections.
Great.
Yeah, and for me this summer, working with the CMU women's basketball team in Mount Pleasant, and I didn't necessarily get that through Northwood specifically, but Northwood, I think, does a great job helping everyone get internships if you want, because they do career fairs, bringing everyone in and things like that. And you can go talk to companies that you're interested in person, give them your resume, and just get a feel on how you'd fit in the company.
And I think all of us would kind of agree that Northwood does a great job in giving us what I call a well-rounded education. No matter what your degree is, you get your management, you get your accounting, you get your marketing, so that regardless of which role you get in an internship, you have the ability to have all those skills that you need to do that. If you each had one piece of advice as a transfer or a commuter student, what would that piece of advice be if you had to redo the whole thing?
This is so cliche, but just be as involved as you can, because the way I look at it is you only get the college experience one time, and this is pretty much the last time in your life that you're going to be able to be involved in 5+ clubs of different people and have that interaction and get those experiences and just talk to people. So I would say do it while you can, get involved. Take full advantage of your opportunity here at Northwood, not only for the education, but everything else that you're getting with it too.
Couldn't have said it better. No, my biggest thing, and I guess to everybody that has come to know me in the last several months, is just go out and have conversations with people. Go out and go say hi to someone in the cafeteria, or go to mid-caf and tell them a story about something, because really we're all in this together. We're all Timberwolves, and we're all having a good time during this career path of ours in college. So why not meet someone that's following the same story?
I mean, I think I have to agree with both of them. But I think, speaking from personal experience, like my first semester transferring here, I didn't like do much besides basketball. But, like, I only talked to a few people. But I think the next year, after I got more comfortable with classes and everything, like, it just makes your college experience so much better, going out and doing things and meeting other people.
Exactly. So one final question, unless we have any other questions that come in, so still feel free to comment below. But I think one final good question to wrap up on, what was it like? What was the Northwood difference between the college you came to, or that you started at, and now the fact that you're at Northwood University? What was the biggest difference between the two?
I think the biggest thing for me was I understood what I wanted to do. When I was in my previous university, as I said, I'm in the University of Arizona. Yes, it's sunshine, it's pretty, it's great. I mean, it's the big university life, but I never really understood what I needed to do. I never really had an idea of where I saw myself in a career path. And I've always loved working, and I always kind of dream of being this automotive personality per se. And when I got to Northwood, when I toured the campus, drove around in circles with my dad Christmas Eve in snow, I realized that this is what I want to do. This is where my passion takes me after all these years of traveling around, and the people I've met is right here back at Northwood.
Trevor, you want to touch on the biggest difference for you?
Yeah, the biggest difference for me, I think, was just how, like, excited, like, when I went on a campus visit here, like when I decided I wanted to leave my other school, just how excited they were to, like, show their education off and, like, things like that. Like, the tours I went on, everyone was, like, excited, and they seemed happy being here. And I think that was my biggest draw academically to Northwood.
Absolutely. So on that, I'm going to bring Missy and Martin back in here real quick, just as we start to wrap up anything. If you do have any additional questions, or if you have anything specific you want to talk about that you didn't necessarily comment to everybody, you can always reach out to us at admissions@northwood.edu. Follow all our social media channels and see what student activities are like. And of course, our website's full of information, and that's northwood.edu. Missy, any final words? Or Martin, any final words?
For those of you that are currently still going through the process, just make sure that any questions you have, you reach out to your admissions rep, you email the address that John just said, you call the 1-800 number. We are absolutely here to help you through this process, and we know that it can be confusing. So please, please just make sure that you reach out. That's why we're here.
And if you're going to be down the road a little bit, there again, contact your rep too, just to make sure, hey, am I taking the right classes? What are the deadlines? When should I be doing everything?
Well, thank you guys all very much for being here. We really appreciate your time. And again, we look forward to hopefully having all of you on campus soon. Thanks so much.